What's going on, guys? This is Burrs. I want to talk to you today about what I think is the best couples tent you can buy for the money. Now, I've used this tent for probably about 4 years now. Used it in many different situations. You guys have seen it in videos. Had it in tons of windy conditions, rainy conditions, snowy conditions. You've seen it all, and I really come to enjoy this tent. Here I am using it, 4 years after I purchased it. This is the 4P model, which is great for a couple. You have a nice space on the inside, and it's really come through for me. I've never had any issues with moisture, any issues with condensation. It vents really well, and I think you really can't find anything better for the money on the market. All right, so let's talk about the outside of this tent here. You can see you can roll the door up to the side here. You got the door here, nice huge entry, which actually helps with ventilation during the day. You got a vent right here for nighttime or for whenever. And on the bottom here, you have a nice little tarp front porch kind of thing going on, so you can keep your shoes and stuff. You don't have to worry about the muddy ground if it's raining or whatever outside. As we make our way around here, you can see you have a nice little window, and obviously no one can even really see through that window if you're worried about privacy. Once you have the inside and everything, you're in the inside. This window is really hard to see through from the outside, but if you do unzip the inside door there and look on the outside, you can look through and kind of see what the weather's doing and all that. You can see great ventilation. I have this pulled out pretty far on the sides. I don't have them guide out on every single point, but I do on the sides. And as you can see, there's a ton of ventilation going on, which is huge. Don't be afraid of ventilation. Ventilation is your friend. As you come around to the back here, again, you can see there's a vent on the top there, and there's a huge amount of ventilation on the bottom. You can see all that ventilation. And it's the same thing as it is on the other side. Do have a reflective material here, and the cool thing about this tent, and I've seen on other tents that they get it wrong, is on the top here, when rain comes down, it sheds off. There's no area for this to puddle. I've had another tent or two where the rain's kind of puddled on the top. Everything comes down off of this when it comes to rain and snow and everything, which is huge. So when it comes to using this year round, I've had no issues. When you look at the guy out points here, I've had this in some crazy wind once, and these guy out points are nice and stable. You can see that nice webbing that's used here, heavy duty. You can really get this thing cinched down pretty good for super windy conditions. The only thing different I've done with this from just getting it in the bag or whatever is I use MSR groundhog stakes. These are the best on the market. You cannot beat groundhog stakes. And then I use night eyes for the guidelines. You just buy a pack of those. I think there's 6 or 8 in each pack. And the cool thing about them is it's easy to set up because it has these little figure 8 or figure 9 things. So it's easy to set it up and then buy yourself enough of these groundhog stakes by MSR. And this tent is bomb proof after you get those things. You can see with the poles here, nice thick poles. I've had this, like I said, I've had this in crazy winds. It's super stable. So we come in here, this door's probably been opened a zillion times, and it is just so easy to open and close the door. The only thing negative I can say about this tent, and it's not really negative, it's really more something that you're gonna have to just get used to, is there's only one door. So if someone's on the other side of the bed and you have to get out in the middle of the night to use the bathroom or whatever, you kind of gotta climb over them or do whatever you gotta do to get out. And that's the only negative, is there's only one exit and one entrance. Other than that, for a couple, this thing is super spacious. On the side here, you got storage areas where you can put stuff. If you got a lantern or something, you can go ahead and put that on the top there in that little hook. Just put it up top there. Kind of have a light on the top, kind of putting it all the light down here. And with all this venting, you can see all this venting in the middle, at top, and that's where you really want the venting, middle and top. You want to get the air out, the hot air. Top and middle are where it's at. You have a nice bathtub design. You can go back and check out my actual review of this tent, but for a couple, it really doesn't get any better than this. You can see that there's a I think this is a double size bed, air inflated bed, and you can see there's plenty of space there. There's plenty of space around the edges. Come around the edges here, The other thing about this tent is the standoff. So as you can see, there's a nice standoff between the fly and the tent, which is huge. You don't want that fly to be up against the tent. You can see it's not. There's good standoff. So when it does rain or it does get windy, you're not gonna have any problems with condensation, moisture, or anything getting in the tent. And I've never had a leak with this tent, and probably have used it 20 to 25 times now, in and out of the pack or the storage bag, and never had a problem. It's bomb proof and it's great for couples. A little closer look at the front porch here, if you will. See tons of space to go ahead and store stuff. Almost forgot, make sure you get the footprint when you buy the tent. The footprint is like a tarp that goes under your tent, and this is really going to keep the bottom of your tent, keeping your tent going long and enduring, you know, tons and tons of use. So get the footprint. It's about $40 extra maybe, but make sure that you definitely get that. So that was a look at what I believe is the best couples tent on the market. When you're looking for something that's gonna, you know, last many years into the future, it's gonna be constructed well, it's going to perform well, which is the number one thing. I really don't think you can beat the Marmot 4P, the Limestone 4P. They do have a 6P version. I can't talk to it. I'm assuming it's gonna be as good if you want to get a bigger tent. But this 4P model is definitely the best for couples as far as space goes. Our kids are a little bit older, so they're teenagers now, so they can kind of use their own separate tents, their own separate 2P tents. And then, you know, we just use this one for ourselves, and it's really come through for us. So if you guys are looking for something for couples, I would definitely take a look at this. There's tons of places that are selling it, and I really don't think you can beat it. So if you guys have any questions or anything, let me know. If you guys have used this tent or anything Marmot related, go ahead and put it in the comments down below, or better yet, make a video about it. And until next time, later.